Does connecting with a higher power really hold the key to spiritual awakening? Welcome to Path of Transformation with Anjali, Chugh. Our program will bring you the tools and techniques needed for transformation on a physical, spiritual, emotional, and psychological level. Now, here's your host, Anjali, Chugh.
Hello and welcome to the show. You're listening to Path of Transformation on Seventh Wave Voice America. Today, we're going to talk about self-esteem, how important it is, and what happens when the self-esteem sort of goes down the drain. What happens when it becomes non-existent in a person? How can it affect their life in general? Could it be a reason behind teen suicides? Imagine having to live with the thought that you couldn't save your loved one just because you didn't pay enough attention. There have been so many instances in the recent past where teens and young adults have been reported to have taken or attempted to take their lives only for the reason that they didn't find themselves good enough. All these victims had one thing in common, though. They didn't have any emotional support forthcoming from their families or friends. No matter how much we try to say that every human being is unique and has something in him that sets him apart from his counterparts, it is very difficult to make a teenager or an adolescent understand the deeper meaning of accepting oneself with grace and dignity. We as parents definitely have to address this issue when it comes to handling children in a slightly different way. We have to communicate with them in a language they understand, a language that does not sound like parental advice in the first place, because that's the last thing they want to hear. You may have noticed that when a child is a victim of abuse or self-pity, he completely shuts down. He refuses to talk. You as a parent have to be extra vigilant in noticing such subtle changes in your growing child. But sometimes it may seem that it may seem to you that it's just one-way communication between you and your child. But nonetheless, you don't have to stop talking to him at any cost, even if it seems frustrating at times. You have to be his rock, his support, and all he needs to know from you is that you love him and care for him. Love is by far the strongest emotion that changes people for the better, but the lack of it can turn angels into demons. Well, we all know that there's enough mythological and biblical evidence in support of what I just said about the power of love. So let's explore and discuss this issue a bit more with our guest, Regina Allen Wilson, who is an award-winning author for her book on self-esteem. She has written 4 books to date, 2 of which are Something About My Face, and that's my favorite. And the second one is From Raindrops to Rainbows, A Spiritual Journey. She is a 2010 Silver Award recipient for her book on self-esteem, Something About My Face, that I just mentioned. She received the first Guardian Angel Award in 2007 from Mayor of Chicago and Chicago Senior Housing Authority for her work in Chicago's neediest. She is the recipient of 2007 Poet Fellow Award of London, England by Nobel House. She loves working with disadvantaged youth, helping them to express their creative side through writing. She's also the recipient of 2010-2011 NAPW Women of the Year Award. Regina has demonstrated a lifelong commitment to continuous education, information sharing, and professional development of others. She was presented an honorary doctorate for her leadership and literary works, and is on her way to completing her doctorate in psychology. Well, friends, I could go on and on with a long list of awards and recognitions that she has won for her selfless work, but I'll leave the rest for you to read on her website. Welcome to the show, Regina.
Thank you so much. I'm so humbled to be here and speak with you and the guest.
Well, it's great to have you with us today. I must say I went to your page on NAPW website to see the kind of work you're involved in, and I must say I was zapped. There was an unending list of awards and recognitions you received. It's really incredible. I must say it's an honor to have you with us today. And before we proceed further, Regina, would you please tell the listeners your web address and your contact details, and also where they can buy your book?
Okay, yes. My web address is AW Associates, just like it sounds, web